English Easy Podcast.
Hello, learners. Welcome back to English Easy Podcast, your partner to learning English. And welcome to today's special deep dive. Imagine, for a second, that you are sitting in this really sleek, glass-walled conference room.
Oh, high pressure.
Exactly. Across the table, a hiring manager looks up from your resume, makes direct eye contact, and asks a critical question about your background. You know, your palms are sweating. You know the answer perfectly in your native language.
Right. The knowledge is all there.
Yeah, but as you open your mouth to respond, your brain just, completely freezes on the first two words. You're suddenly caught in this ultimate mental tug of war. You're thinking, wait, do I start the sentence with did you or have you?
It's the classic trap.
It really is. It's this tiny grammatical crossroad, but like in a professional setting, it feels like stepping on a landmine.
Yeah, that hesitation is, it's universally paralyzing for learners. And the psychology behind that freeze is actually fascinating because for intermediate learners, your brain has acquired enough vocabulary to express really complex ideas.
Right.
But it's still actively translating the concept of time. So the cognitive load of managing a high-stakes business conversation while simultaneously calculating the correct past tense, well, it often causes the language centers of your brain to essentially short circuit.
Which means instead of focusing on showcasing your brilliant financial analysis or like your project management skills, you are suddenly second-guessing your own grammar.
Exactly. And that completely shatters your speaking confidence.
So our mission in this deep dive is to completely dismantle that mental roadblock.
Yep.
We are tailoring this discussion specifically for you, the intermediate speaker who is preparing for real-world professional environments.
I love that. We're getting practical.
We really are. We're going to slow down, look under the hood of these two specific phrases and, explain the mechanical logic behind them. By the end of this deep dive, making the choice won't be a guess, it'll be a reflex.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And the root of the confusion really comes down to how different languages map out time.
Right, because not all languages see time the same way.
Exactly. In a lot of languages, if an event happened in the past, there is simply one primary bucket to put it in. It's behind us. So, we just use a past tense.
Simple,
yeah. But English, however, is notoriously greedy. It insists on dividing the past into two entirely different psychological landscapes. You have the historical past, and then you have the past that is still touching the present.
And because both did you and have you point backward, they feel identical to a learner.
Precisely. They both point backward, so they blur together.
I always struggled with this until I started visualizing how human memory actually functions, and I want you, the listener, to try this. Think about how you recall your own past. Sometimes, I flip through the photo app on my phone.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Yeah, because every picture in there has a specific digital timestamp right in the corner, like October 12th, 8 a.m. It is locked. It's a finished, closed moment.
A permanent record.
Right. But other times, I don't think about specific dates at all. I just think about my broad life experiences as a whole, like a wide open artist's canvas.
And that visual, the time-stamped photo versus the open canvas, it maps perfectly onto the grammatical architecture of English.
It does, doesn't it?
It totally does. The language demands that we signal to the listener which mental landscape we are operating in. So, did you, which is the past simple tense, operates exclusively as that time-stamped photograph.
The finished moment.
Yes. We use it when the time frame of the action is completely over, the door is shut, and the finish line has been crossed. Words like yesterday, last quarter, in 2020, or even this morning.
So if I asked, did you submit the Q3 financial report yesterday? The word yesterday acts as that rigid red timestamp.
Exactly. The morning is gone. The day is a closed box. You must use did you.
Okay, so that's the photo. What about the canvas?
Conversely, have you represents the present perfect tense, which functions as your open canvas. It strips away the clock entirely.
It doesn't care about the specific time at all.
Not even a little bit. It only cares about the existence of the experience itself. It asks, did this event happen at any undefined point on the canvas of your life up until this very second? The mechanism here is about current relevance, not historical scheduling.
Let's test the mechanics of that finish line really quickly. If the time period is over, you are forced to use did you.
Right.
Like, did you analyze the market data last night?
Right, because last night has a definitive finish line. Therefore, did you?
But the friction happens when learners try to mix these two distinct tools together.
Oh, absolutely. And it's natural because, well, the brain is a pattern recognition machine. It wants to generalize rules to save energy.
Right, we want the path of least resistance.
Exactly. So a learner might logically think, well, have you sounds more sophisticated, so I'll just use it to ask about a past event. And they end up constructing a sentence like, have you watched the presentation last night?
Which, to a native speaker, sounds like nails on a chalkboard.
Linguistically, it is a violent clash. You are taking a broad, open canvas structure and aggressively pasting a rigid, closed-door timestamp right in the middle of it. The grammar just breaks.
Because you simply cannot use an unspecific structure with a specific finished time. And to really embed this, I want listeners to mentally anchor the difference between these two concepts. Let's do a little pronunciation practice.
No, I like this. Get them speaking out loud.
Exactly. Think about the phonetics here. The word for our timestamp photo is specific. I want you to say it with me. Specific.
It has a hard, sharp S sound and a definitive fic at the end. It sounds precise.
It really does. Now, the word for our open canvas is unspecific. Try saying that. Unspecific.
That was a lot more.
Yeah, it flows. When we deal with the unspecific canvas, we need trigger words that communicate this flowing, timeless quality.
And the language relies heavily on those trigger words to signal the canvas without, adding a clock. Words like ever, never, before, already, and yet.
Oh, those are crucial markers.
They're functional markers. So if a colleague asks, have you ever managed a remote logistics team? The word ever acts as the trigger. It explicitly tells the listener that the exact date does not matter. The focus is purely on the acquisition of the skill.
Right. And the word already works the exact same way. Like, have you already reviewed the merger documents?
Yes. The timeline is completely irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the completion of the task.
But here is where the application gets really messy, particularly when the pressure is on. I was looking through some source notes from language educators for this deep dive, and there is this recurring narrative about the psychology of making errors in front of an audience.
Public speaking changes everything.
It does. Let's look at a student we'll call Marco. Marco is standing in front of a room full of his colleagues and his instructor. He wants to ask his instructor about her weekend. He looks right at her and says, have you been to London last weekend?
Ah, the Marco mistake.
Yes, the Marco mistake.
It is incredibly common, and it's entirely driven by the pressure of the spotlight. When a speaker is nervous, maybe during a presentation or a boardroom meeting, the brain's executive function tries to overcompensate.
It wants to sound smart.
Exactly.
Yes.
It assumes that complex, multi-word grammatical structures just sound more professional or polite than simple ones.
So Marco's brain reached for the present perfect, have you been?
Right, because it feels weightier than the past simple.
Right.
But then, to provide context, he attached the timestamp last weekend.
It's the exact structural contradiction we just analyzed. An open canvas question paired with a closed photo time. So let's use this as a mental exercise for you listening right now. If you're on your commute or just sitting at your desk, take a brief mental pause.
Think about how you would fix it.
Right. How would you strip away the clash and correct Marco's sentence? The timestamp last weekend is non-negotiable. It has to stay. So how do you adjust the verb to match the timestamp?
The logical repair here is to align the verb with the closed nature of the timestamp. Since last weekend represents a finished period, the sentence must drop into the past simple.
So the direct correction is,
Did you go to London last weekend?
perfect. Did you go? But what if Marco's intent was different? What if he wasn't asking about her weekend at all, but, rather trying to network and discover if she had ever visited the city for business in her entire life?
Then the mechanism shifts entirely. He must eliminate the timestamp to preserve the canvas.
So he drops last weekend.
Exactly. And he would ask, have you ever been to London? It's the same location, but an entirely different linguistic function. Did you go? Targets a specific date on a calendar. Have you ever been? Targets the accumulated life experience.
This distinction is just the bedrock of corporate communication. Let's bring this back to that high-stakes job interview we visualized at the start of the deep dive. An interviewer isn't just asking questions at random.
No, they are highly intentional.
Right. They are using grammar to signal the exact type of information they are trying to extract from you.
Precisely. The grammar dictates the required scope of the answer. If a hiring manager says, have you ever negotiated a vendor contract? Well, they are scanning your broad skill set.
They want to know if you possess that capability on your professional canvas.
Exactly. They aren't asking for a date. They are asking for proof of experience.
But if they are looking directly at a bullet point on your resume, say from your previous job in 2022, they will point to that specific timestamp and ask, did you negotiate the tech vendor contract for the Q2 rollout?
And in that case, they are testing your compliance and the specific execution of a historical task. The grammar gives away the context.
And the ability to decode that context instantly is what separates a hesitant beginner from a confident, commanding speaker. It shows that you actually understand the underlying managerial intent.
It's high-level listening.
It really is. So I want to play a guessing game with you to simulate how this managerial intent plays out in everyday office life.
Ooh, a context guessing game? Let's do it.
Yeah. So a former manager of mine used to use these tenses interchangeably to create totally different atmospheres in the room. I'm going to give you two scenarios, and I want you, the listener, to guess the underlying feeling.
Okay, let's hear scenario A.
Scenario A, your boss walks up to your desk and asks, did you read my email? Now, scenario B, the boss walks up and asks, have you read my email yet?
Ah.
The vocabulary is nearly identical, but the psychological pressure feels entirely different. Why?
The pressure shifts because the timeline shifts.
Yeah.
In the first scenario, did you read my email? The past simple tense silently implies a specific, unstated timestamp.
Like they're looking at their watch.
Exactly. The managerial feeling is, I sent an urgent email at 8 a.m. Did you read it then? It is targeted, historical, and time-bound. It implies you might have missed a specific window of action.
Oh, that is stressful. And the second scenario with the trigger word yet.
Have you read my email yet? Utilizes the present perfect to act as a task checklist. The boss does not care if you read it at 8 a.m. or literally 2 minutes ago.
The time is totally irrelevant.
Right. The only concern is whether the state of the task is completed or incomplete at this current moment. The word yet highlights the unspecific nature of the request.
It's remarkable how one structural shift changes the entire power dynamic of a question. Let's demonstrate how fluidly native speakers bounce between these two landscapes in real time.
A dialogue simulation.
Yeah, let's do a quick simulation. Imagine it's Monday morning. Two colleagues are catching up near the office coffee machine. Pay attention to how the tenses shift naturally from specific timestamps to broad experiences. I'll initiate.
Ready?
Hey, how was your weekend? I went to the new cinema downtown.
Oh, nice. Did you enjoy the film?
Yes, the cinematography was amazing. Have you seen it yet?
No, not yet. Have you ever been to that new cinema on the high street?
No, I haven't. Did you go there last week? I heard they just renovated the lobby.
Yes, I did. I went with the marketing team on Friday. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you eat anything before the film?
Yes, I grabbed some pizza. Have you tried that artisanal pizza place next to the cinema?
No, I haven't tried it yet. Did you like it?
Loved it. You should definitely go.
Okay, let's break character. If we dissect that exchange, the rhythm is pretty obvious.
Yeah. Do you enjoy the film? Demands the past simple because it references the specific time I was sitting in the theater.
Right. But your follow-up, have you seen it yet? Immediately strips away the timeline and shifts back to the general experience canvas.
The rhythm relies on a constant toggling between the photo and the canvas. But notice something else crucial in that simulation, the structure of the answers.
Ah, yes. Formulating the question correctly is only half the battle.
Exactly. A massive trap that ruins learner speaking confidence is comprehending the question perfectly, but then answering with mismatched grammar, which causes the dialogue to suddenly feel disjointed.
I see this constantly. A learner will be asked, did you finish the financial audit? And they confidently reply, yes, I have.
Oh, it creates an immediate auditory friction for a native speaker.
It really does. And the mechanism to prevent that friction is what we call the mirror rule.
The mirror rule.
Yes. In English, the auxiliary verb used in the question must be mirrored in the short answer. The structure leaves basically no room for improvisation. If the question leads with did, your response must mirror it with did.
So if I ask, did you enjoy the film? You must answer with yes, I did, or no, I didn't.
Correct. And if the question leads with have, the response must reflect it. Have you seen the report yet? Requires yes, I have, or no, I haven't. You literally cannot cross the streams.
Replying yes, I have to a did you question just breaks the grammatical symmetry that native speakers subconsciously rely on to process the conversation.
Exactly. It breaks the symmetry.
Well, the mirror rule is elegantly simple, but let me challenge this rigidity for a moment if I can.
Go for it.
English is an incredibly messy, evolving language. It rarely adheres to textbook rules with absolute perfection in the real world.
That is very true.
And I consume a lot of American media, and I frequently hear characters and real people in American corporate settings blatantly ignoring this division.
Yeah.
Are we teaching a strict rule that is actually dissolving?
That is a highly observant critique of modern linguistics. The strict division between the time-stamped photo and the open canvas is rigorously enforced in British English.
Right.
However, transatlantic variations reveal a fascinating divergence. American English operates with a strong bias toward linguistic efficiency in casual spoken environments.
It's all about speed.
Exactly. Because the past simple "did you" is shorter and punchier. Americans frequently deploy it in situations where British speakers would absolutely demand the present perfect.
Give me an example of that transatlantic friction.
Sure. Imagine a major news event just broke. A British speaker will almost universally focus on the life experience aspect and ask, "Have you heard the news?"
Right, checking the canvas.
But an American speaker, however, will often bypass the nuance of the canvas entirely and simply ask, "Did you hear the news?"
Even without a specific timestamp attached. That's wild. So if a learner is working with an American tech firm or, watching a Hollywood production, they are going to hear "did you" used for broad, unspecific questions.
They absolutely will.
Yeah.
But, and this does not invalidate the foundational rule.
Okay, why not?
American English bends the rule for casual speed, yes. But in formal writing, legal documents, or highly structured professional environments, the distinction remains completely intact. Furthermore, to successfully bend a rule, you must first master the mechanics of why the rule exists.
That makes perfect sense.
Mastering the strict difference provides the architectural foundation necessary to comprehend the casual, colloquial variations later.
You have to know how to build a house before you can start knocking down walls.
Beautifully said.
Well, we have thoroughly mapped out the territory today. We explored the psychology of the time-stamped photo versus the open canvas. We analyzed the trigger words.
We decoded the managerial intent behind interview questions.
And we established the mirror rule for answering. So now it's time to test those neural pathways for our listeners. We are going to run a rapid-fire Q&A quiz segment.
Oh, the goal here is to train the reflex so that the grammar becomes instantaneous, totally bypassing the need for conscious translation.
Exactly. I'm going to read 4 common sentences that contain structural clashes. These are mistakes that happen in boardrooms every single day. I want you, the listener, to instantly spot the friction and mentally fix the sentence before my co-host delivers the perfected correction.
I'm ready when you are.
Let's test that response speed.
Yeah.
Mistake number 1. Have you watched the presentation last night?
Okay, identify the clash and fix it.
Did you get it?
The correction must be, did you watch the presentation last night?
Yeah.
The clash occurs because last night is a specific closed finish line. We must use the time-stamped "did you."
Awesome. Mistake number 2. Did you ever visit the headquarters in Paris?
Strip away the friction.
What's the fix?
The refined version is, have you ever visited the headquarters in Paris? The word "ever" is an unspecific trigger word pointing to a general life experience. It demands the open canvas of "have you."
Right. Mistake number 3. Did you finish the budget forecasting yet?
Think about the structure.
And the fix is?
The accurate correction is, have you finished the budget forecasting yet? The word "yet" signals that the exact time is irrelevant. We are merely checking the completion status of the task. It requires "have you."
Spot on. And finally, mistake number 4. This one is a short dialogue. The manager asks, did you send the email? The employee answers, yes, I have.
Correct that response.
How do we fix the symmetry?
The correction relies on the mirror rule. Did you send the email? Yes, I did. The auxiliary verb in the answer must always reflect the auxiliary verb in the question.
Excellent. Navigating these linguistic nuances isn't just an academic exercise. It is fundamentally about how you organize time, action, and consequence in your own mind.
And how you project that organization to the professionals around you.
Exactly. Did you operates as your rigid timestamp photograph. It is specific, closed, and historical. Have you is your expansive open canvas. It captures your life experiences, your unspecific timelines, and the tasks whose impact matters more than the hour they were completed.
The mechanical mastery of this single grammatical divide yields an incredible return on investment for language learners. It eliminates the cognitive hesitation that derails complex thoughts.
It really does. It makes your spoken English exponentially more precise and natural.
Ultimately, it grants you the mental bandwidth to focus entirely on the substance of your business negotiations rather than, panicking over the architecture of your verbs.
And freeing up that mental bandwidth is the ultimate victory. But before we conclude this deep dive, I want to leave you with a provocative linguistic thought to ponder.
Oh, I love these.
We just discussed how American English is aggressively favoring the shorter, punchier "did you" for the sake of casual efficiency, right? That they're actively blurring the line between the photo and the canvas.
They are.
Well, languages are living ecosystems. They evolve by discarding what they no longer deem necessary. So, as global business communication prioritizes speed over nuance, do you think the present perfect tense might eventually be phased out of spoken English entirely?
Wow. It's a compelling hypothesis. I mean, linguistic history is full of complex tenses that just vanished because the speakers simply stopped using them in favor of speed.
It's something to think about. This week, I want you to treat your environment like a linguistic laboratory. Pay close attention to the native speakers in your meetings, the dialogue in your favorite shows, or the phrasing in international podcasts.
Observe how often people stick to the strict rules versus how often they bend them for efficiency.
Yes. And the next time you find yourself in that conference room, pausing before asking a question about the past, take a breath.
Yeah.
Look at the thought forming in your mind and simply ask yourself, am I holding a red timestamp or am I painting on an open canvas? Keep analyzing, keep building that confidence, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.